Hello everyone, I am Chris. This lesson is about English idioms, specifically those involving the radar. A radar is an electronic equipment, especially used in the air travel industry. So they have big pieces of equipment called dishes, which, for example, scan the sky, and then they send messages, and the people who control the airplanes can see on a screen where all the airplanes are. That's how one example of a radar system works. So when we're discussing these idioms, please think of that visually because it will help you understand what the idioms mean. It's all about the prepositions, of course. We talk about on the radar, off the radar, and under the radar. Let's start with under the radar. And if something or someone is under the radar, this means that people aren't aware of it, or that it or they have gone unnoticed. An example could be a musician that you like but who isn't very famous. So you could say that this musician is under the radar because most people aren't aware of them yet. A couple of other examples you might hear. Those accounting irregularities have been under the radar for too long. His laziness won't stay under the radar for much longer. So we're talking about things there which people haven't noticed, they're unaware of. It's often used also to talk about problems or bad things which haven't been recognised or acknowledged yet. That's a common usage of it. And going back to that visual thing, when we talked about the radar screen for air traffic, so if something is under the radar literally, it means a plane is flying too low for the radar to detect it. So imagine that, and then you can translate that into the meaning that you're using the idiom for. Under the radar. Off the radar is a bit less common, I think, and it refers specifically to people, and you use it to describe someone who hasn't been in touch recently. They've been out of contact. My example is, George has been off the radar since he did that thing at your party. So in this example, it means that George probably did something bad at a party and he hasn't wanted to talk to anyone since. He hasn't been in contact, he hasn't been communicating with anyone, he's off the radar. On someone's radar or on the radar, this is pretty much the opposite meaning to the other two. So this is used to describe things that people are aware of, that they have noticed. Earlier I talked about someone's laziness being under the radar. People didn't know about it or hadn't noticed it. The opposite would be his laziness is on their radar now, finally. That might mean that perhaps you've got a lazy colleague at work and the managers have noticed they're going to do something about it, finally. There's an exciting new partnership opportunity which is definitely on my radar. So I know about this new opportunity and I'm going to look into it further. Something like that. Under the radar, off the radar, on the radar. 3 idioms, all using radar with the different prepositions and somewhat different meanings. I hope that this explanation was clear enough. Thank you very much for watching. Please subscribe and like the Facebook page for more lessons in the future. I'll see you soon.